Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Software Plaza podcast. I'm Twain Taylor, editor at Software Plaza, and I bring you a new conversation each week about something related to AI and how it intersects with cloud technologies. And it's quite an interesting space because there's a lot happening with AI in the recent maybe 2 years or so. And a lot of that is just having a huge impact on how organizations run their cloud applications, how they deliver software. And we're really tracking that closely. So if you like what you hear, go and subscribe to, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or YouTube, wherever. You can also check out more of this kind of stuff. We've done a lot of episodes like this from the past few years. You can check them out. And yeah, head over to our website as well, softwareplaza.com. We've got articles, we've got event coverage, and a lot more happening over there. You'll really like what you see there. And with that said, today I have with me Luis Rodriguez, who's the CTO and co-founder at Xygeni. That's Xygeni. And their website is xygeni.io. And I just want to read their tagline from their website. It says, "appsec for an AI first world. One AI powered platform that detects, prioritizes, and remediates vulnerabilities and malware end to end without the traditional appsec overhead." So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Application security, but more importantly, what does appsec mean in an AI first world? That's what we're really going to dig into. And we're going to see what Xygeni has been building and what they're excited about today. And to tell us all about it, Luis is here. Luis, great to have you with us. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. We appreciate very much Twain, the opportunity to talk here, and good morning or good evening in your case.
Yeah. People would listen from all over the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, whatever you're listening to, we hope you're having a good day. Luis is speaking all the way from Spain. Is it sunny there right now, Luis, in Spain? Is it
Yeah, it's
summer
sunny,
already?
sunny. Nice day today.
All right. Yeah. Um, and yeah, so Luis, tell us a bit about yourself, just your journey, your career, and just what led you to co-found Xygeni.
Okay. My background started in cryptography, which is not popular today, perhaps by quantum cryptography now. But I started with elliptic curve when elliptic curve cryptography was starting. And over the
All
years,
right.
I moved to into software security more broadly, with a strong
Mm.
focus on static analysis. I am a mathematician, and I cannot I
Okay.
cannot hide that. Finding
Mm-hmm.
problems in code was my is all time have been my main thread in this world in my career. Before Xygeni, I was part of a previous application security venture. We took all the way to a successful exit 5 years ago, more or less. That experience was nice. We learned how to build a product in the old way, not. But then
Right.
it came COVID pandemic, and the SolarWinds attack, and many other events. And it became impossible to ignore the pattern that in a world this interconnected, protecting the supply chain, the software supply chain, was no longer optional. It was imperative.
Mhm.
So that is the mission we take when we founded Xygeni at the end of 2022, 4 years ago, more or less.
All right. Yeah. So tell us about supply chain security, how you see it. And I think we have been paying more attention to it in the past few years because I think the number of attacks have become more serious and more frequent. And I think they have this sort of ripple effect that when a supply chain is attacked, it also exposes supply chains of other dependent organizations. And that's why it's become all the more serious. Tell us a bit about just, supply chain security, what's been happening in the recent years, and why it's become such an important topic today.
Yeah, sure. You probably know, I mentioned the solar winds attack. This is
Right.
a very popular one. We had a lot of different kind of supply chain attacks. Many of them exploited social engineering. For example, you know the XZ utils. There was a obscure library which was used indirectly by the OpenSSH tool, and it was a very carefully planned social engineering attack that took 2 years. Very sophisticated. They almost got the malware inside the OpenSSH in major Linux distributions, which would be a mess, a completely Armageddon in software security terms. And this is the kind of attacks that we try to protect the industry against. But there are many recent attacks. You probably know about Chivy or Kicks from security vendors, which are pretty aware of what's going on with supply chain attacks. They were themselves victims of this kind of attacks, and we ourselves we had also one attack recently, and a couple of months ago. And the problem is that you have many pieces, you have many distribution points, and you have to protect strongly every single them, all of them, because if not, you are doomed. You get the attackers in supply chain attacks are opportunistic. They try many different avenues, and when they found one, they inject the malware and leverage the supply chain to affect thousands downstream. This is the amplification factor that is inherent in software supply chain attacks, and this is the current situation. It was a less known problem with respect to other more common problems like vulnerabilities. But now we cannot miss that this is one of the most risky parts of the software industry, the supply chain. And we are done. We started with supply chain. We moved to other avenues. For example, we started with ASPM, trying to prioritize the flooding of findings that the many tools provide. But we are now coming again to the supply chain part of the product, because it's a major problem now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Tell us a bit about how attackers are using AI in these attacks when they target supply chains. Are they getting smarter? In what ways are they changing their tactics? What's new when you look at the way attacks happen today versus attacks that happened, let's say, 3 years ago before AI came along? What would you say are some of the big changes today?
I think that they are using massively the AI. We all know all the problems with war rails in the AI agents. You say that you are using the agent in a role of a pen tester or a red team. You can
Mm-hmm.
make anything get anything from the agent. So the war rails, in my opinion, is they are not pretty useful for protecting against bad use. This is the same problem with dual used weapons. You have a weapon that can be used for good and for bad. And the problem is that the guardrails are quite difficult to implement for letting good usage for security identification of vulnerabilities, and at the same time against the use for building malware or for performing attacks. Even in November last year, Anthropic reported that an advanced threat group from China was using it for automation, for full automation of attacks itself. So the technology is being used for many different purposes by the bad guys, and we are seeing now the effect. We for example, in our case, the secret was the problem. Most of the times come when a long time secret is exfiltrated due to a problem, a spyware or something that enters your network. The secret is exfiltrated, but the attackers don't know what to do with those secrets. But with AI, they can automate. They can try with that secrets they collected. They can try massively and try to get where this secret can taking the secret, where can I reach to? And using this tactic, they are getting a lot of success in recent incidents. So I think this is the change. 4 months ago, the AI agents were not capable of complex planning, but now they can. And this is bad news for the software industry, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, sounds scary. Wow. So that given that the stakes are high and that attackers are now becoming way smarter than they used to be, using automation with AI and autonomous agents to carry out attacks and operating much faster. There's definitely this has implications for security teams, and a lot of security teams are thinking about what should I be doing? Should I be having better detection to spot when these incidents are happening in real time, when an attack happens, or should I be preparing myself ahead of time so that I can prevent these from even happening in the first place? Do I need to look at my architecture? Do I need to look at my processes, the team culture, changes we need to make? There are a lot of these questions on people's minds as I think about security. What would you say to these folk who are dealing with threats that are coming from attackers in the AI age and thinking of whether they should focus on detection or prevention or both, or where do they start?
Well, detection, as usual, is after the fact. You know that something happened, but perhaps it's too late. So you have to prevent. How to prevent? Then you have you can prevent putting guardrails and putting good security controls, making a lot of effort to. But probably you missed something. If you miss something, the opportunistic attackers will get that. And with automation and AI agents, it's much more frequent getting these hidden gates to enter and penetrate into your infrastructure. So I think that detection is the easy. You have many tools which are intelligent enough to detect everything that can happen in your infrastructure and in your application, in your software. The problem is that you have an over double dance. You have a alert fatigue is the name of the thing. But nobody, and if you have that over abundance, nobody really cares about anything. So traditional techniques to filter the noise are getting more opportunities now. But even if you limit the things that really need to be fixed, you have a huge amount of them. So you need to automate that, and this is another. I can detect, I can prevent with good configuration and detecting where are the misconfigurations that I need, the gaps I need to close. But for the things I detect, I need to remediate them as soon as possible, and I need automation. Automation means auto-remediation or something like that. But auto-remediation is far from being easy, because later we can talk more about that. But there is a significant burden in remediation. You try to remediate this, and you open the door for other problems. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a complex thing, as we will see now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, really interesting response there about how there's alert fatigue and too many alerts, too much noise, and you need to focus on the things you really need to fix. And there's so many things to fix. And then talking about just you need auto remediation, and even with auto remediation, you shouldn't fix one thing and break another thing. So just a lot of interesting points that you made there. And clearly, you're coming from a very practical standpoint where you've seen all of this in action in lots of different organizations that you serve. Um, yeah, talk to us a bit about just a bit more about manual remediation versus automated remediation, because I think a lot of security teams are on that journey somewhere. Some are more early stage. They're just starting to automate very simple things, and they're very early in the process. Maybe many are not even automating, and they're doing everything manual. And then there's probably some that are along the way have automated some things, but are looking at how can I further automate? How can I even use AI in my SecOps so that I go further than rules-based automation to where I have kind of like an intelligent partner working alongside me, which is an agent, people thinking on those lines. And obviously, everyone's at different stages in this journey. But talk a bit more about this journey, what it means, moving from completely manual remediation to automation to agentic remediation.
Mhm. Well, what a question. uh, Let us start with the complexity of the remediation itself. With a simple case, you start with a vulnerable library, open source library. You have, the CDE of known vulnerability, not zero day, no nothing, playing all the vulnerability, and you need to fix it. You are in with that mission, and you get, okay, this version fixes the vulnerability. Then you
Mm-hmm.
do a version bump, and that's all. But when you do the version bump, everything breaks, because obviously your software is using the library in a way that is not compatible with the new version. So you need to know if the change we how will the fix affect the software. You do the change. Okay, I will try to look for a minor version that fits the build, fixes the vulnerability, but don't introduce many breaking changes in the library. But when you do that, you get many vulnerabilities that were not patched in that version. So you need to be continuously testing and launching again the detector to find if the vulnerabilities that are with the new configuration, and it takes a lot of time for things as simple as a minimal critical, for example, vulnerability fix. If you have a cold vulnerability, it's more or less the same. Imagine the serialization vulnerability. You are using a serialization library, and you have a vulnerability of that kind. When you try to change to remove the problem, you need to change how the library is used, and that breaks the, of course, the because you need to change the configuration. You need to perhaps change the library itself, because the old one is not capable to protect you against deserialization issues. So you need to change, and that change breaks everything, and you need to fix. That takes a lot of time. It's not easy. So I think that manual, if you need, you, currently everybody is using vibe coding or trying to check how agentic AI can help with coding at much more pace. So you get a lot of code to review. Nobody can review as in the past times. The code is created by the AI agents. So you need to put another agent to review code generated by it's a mess. So you need to do something more automated. You need to check. Okay, I will check the some parts of the code, but I will let automation for detecting if the change takes the burden of multiple vulnerabilities, and try to fix any vulnerability is produced by the agentic AI. So this is one approach, and this is the approach where we're trying to help the market with our solution, because we are trying, we put some alternatives to the manual remediation. First, obviously not all. Other important thing is that not all remediation works the same. For example, secrets. If you have a leaked secret, the fix is simple. In theory, it's rotate. You need to rotate the secret, but you have to change all the usages of the secret in the different parts where the secret was used. So this takes also some time, but there is no AI involved there. You need to have an automated way to rotate the secret. You can use, for example, a secret vault. Or secret manager. This is a trend today to limitate the secrets hard coded in distributed in hard coded ways using a secret vault. This is a good approach. You have other, for example, SCA. You don't need artificial intelligence. You need
Yeah.
to know. You need context. You need to know which are the version that best removes the vulnerability, and also if this version introduces breaking changes that
Mm.
evoke a successful remediation. So this is context, and you don't need
Yeah.
AI for that. But that said,
Mm.
for others, for example, code vulnerabilities or infrastructure as code vulnerabilities, you need
Mhm.
probably the trend today is to use AI agents to help you producing the code that fixes a known vulnerability. This is where
Mm.
AI is good. Mainly in the last 4 months, as I said, in the last 4 months, I saw a quantum leap in the capabilities of the coding agents for solving security vulnerabilities. So this is the term we use. Use the technique that works best for each kind of problem, security problem.
Mm. Wow, really interesting. The lots of things that you mentioned about just the mess that we have with so many agents writing code, reviewing code, and then secrets management and the hassle with that. But then it's actually a simple problem to solve. If you use a vault and you rotate the secret and you can do that, you don't need AI for that. So yeah, some interesting thoughts there. Uh, that said, I was wanting to get into a bit to ask you about the approach that you take with Xygeni to solving these challenges. What would you say is Xygeni's uniqueness in its approach, and how would you say why would you say someone should pay attention to what Xygeni is doing and how it's different and why it's important?
To put it in a graphical way, we rest in three pillars. As many vendors, they say we live on three pillars.
Right.
Which are our three pillars here? Well, prioritization on the real context. You maybe you heard some words difficult to pronounce: reachability, exploitability. Uh, a handful of others that are hard to pronounce. This
Mhm,
ilities is the context, is the information that provides you the necessary context to for a successful remediation. If, for example,
mhm,
reachability, if the vulnerable code is not reached by how you use the library, then you have no worries. You don't forget the tool says that you're vulnerable. You are not vulnerable. So this is context that gets rid of many of the issues that, in theory, I have to take care of. And this is a precious gem. This context, this information is precious, but it's quite difficult, quite hard to obtain. I can attest this because we spend a lot of effort to get. We say that we analyze in the internet 5 or 6 times per day because we need
mhm.
to get a lot of information from, for example, open source components to detect where are the changes done, to understand if there are breaking changes, for example. And we need to,
Right.
this information is essential for remediation, but it's quite hard to obtain and to this.
Mhm,
So this is the point. They prioritize with real context, with context that provides real advantage for auto-remediation. The second is think not only in vulnerabilities, but also in malware, because we are talking in the past, the attackers looked for open vulnerabilities and try to exploit them. Now, the bad guys, the threat actors, are trying to inject malware in third-party software and leverage the supply, the distribution channels for the software to affect thousands users downstream. And this is the new situation, as we mentioned in the beginning.
yeah.
So we need to also look for malware, not only vulnerabilities. This is the second pillar in our case. And the third is the whole chain. We have to cover everything from not only product itself, the software, but also the infrastructure that produces that software, the build system, the CI/CD, this SCM where the code is version, and all the infrastructure needs to be protected because supply chain attacks liberate that kind of problems in infrastructure. So the three pillars are these in short.
Mhm. All right. All right. Yeah. And yeah, with that introduction, could you do you want to mention a bit before we get into the demo which you have planned for us? I was
Mhm.
wondering if you wanted to mention anything at all in specific about your auto remediation capabilities within Xygeni, because that's one of the key features that I think you talk about and you wanted to even demo to us today. So any comment on that before we dive into the demo?
I think that I mentioned many of the problems. I think that we mentioned exploitability, reachability, but also the breaking changes. Breaking changes is quite important to understand. If I change this library, what is the effect in new vulnerabilities and in what changes are in the signatures of the functions. So
Right.
this information is essential, and I think is one of our trademarks. Okay, and also we try to put a lot of effort in all the elements of the chain. For example, CI/CD. In CI/CD, you have the workflows or the pipelines, uh, which is the automation that builds the software and deploys it in the final environments. And we have to take a special care with vulnerabilities there, because if they can be exploited, you can have the best security controls. If something can enter that, you have a solar winds, a solar winds
Mm.
incident, which is not
Right.
the problem with an incident is that for the attacker, perhaps is a quick thing done with the aim with the help of an agent. There is a complete asymmetry. They waste a minimal effort, but the cost for you is enormous, because you have incident management. You need to publish relation. You have to warn all your users what happened, and the way they could be affected, and that is a lot of work. I can I can I can tell you. So it's asymmetric. For the attackers is this one, and for the victims is this one.
Wow.
That said, I think that we can take a look in the demo better, no? And so
Sure thing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, quite excited to see the demo because we have discussed the challenges, we've discussed the approach to solve it, and we've kind of gotten some comments from you on auto-remediation and how to even approach that. And quite looking forward to the demo because you even got some AI related things in the demo, which Cloud Code and stuff, which sometimes
okay.
is slow to execute. But we'll see how it goes today. That's the fun of a demo. Yeah, we see your screen, so take it away. It's demo time.
Okay. I will follow a simple case. It's a vibe coding example where I let Cloud Code creating a very simple application. I have 5 minutes to do the demo, but
Mhm.
I will try to keep the vibe code, generate the generate code on one Rails. So I will use Xygeni tools. In this case, the agent we have installed here in this is Visual Studio, Visual VS Code, and
Mhm.
I have here some instructions for first. I have here the instructions that. Sorry. I am. I tell the agent that he will be creating a small Java application with
Mhm.
using Spring Boot. Is a common case for many shops, and
Right.
I will let the cloud code to generate the application, but I will continuously validate the security of the result of the generated code, and I will be keeping an eye on the code until there are no critical or high vulnerabilities across three areas. In this case, the code vulnerabilities, the third-party dependencies vulnerabilities, and secrets, hard-coded secrets. Three parts.
Mhm.
So I tell here the agent, which is the technical stack, which are the application requirements. Basically, it's a very trivial application, but I will, after the phase one, which is, I especially say that, okay, you can use everything you want. You can put all the string concatenation in your queries, whatever you want, that I will try to avoid any security issues at the end. So the second phase is the security validation loop, where I will
Mhm.
take a lot of effort to remediate automatically all the things that the agent produces, just to
Mhm.
to show which is this kind of a scenario with I have an AI agent producing code, and I try to avoid that the end product has any vulnerability. Okay, this is the
Right.
so I say start following the instructions in the bank. You will find, I expect, you will find the file. Oh yeah, if I found. I say here that he must follow
It's asking a question. Allow this
Yeah,
bash command.
he's trying to see if I have Java installed. Yeah, because I asked for a Java application.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I said here is that he must use these security instructions. These security instructions are telling that instead of using their own intelligence, he must use our MCP server to take the detection and the auto-remediation from our tool. The
Okay.
advantage is that we are using deterministic behavior and the AI is using random behavior. It's non-deterministic inherently. So for security, okay, I will say for security purposes, determinism is good, but for creating code, creative code, you need some temperature, some randomness. So you need to combine both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Here is now generating a
How
lot of.
question I have is about just your instructions file. How did you, what was your process to create this instructions file? How did you do it? Did you get help from an agent, from AI to even write this? Did you have this already existing and you like repurposed it for the demo? Just because, a lot of people may be wondering, how do I
Mhm.
create that for my use case? You want to share any insight on that?
These instructions for the agent is something we provide because we tell the agent to use our tools and we know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that when you propose the use case for code production, you need to say where the URLs should be applied, where the auto remediation and the checks should be done, and this is where you need to specify. We use here two phases, but you can also a more incremental approach, and this is something you need to check with different coding strategies. For example, if you're doing bytecode, this is nice because you let the code be generated, and then you fix all the issues at a given level of severity. This is nice
Mm-hmm.
because you get initial version with a zero critical or high risk vulnerabilities, and
All right.
it takes more time to fix the issues than to create the code. In
Mm.
fact, but this is
Yeah.
good because you get a clean code all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Interesting.
Now it's compiling, and now it's starting with the security check. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's calling our servers to detect any. Here, for example, this is the JSON file, but he found here a SQL injection. Okay, so there is here probably a concatenation. It's a common thing, no, in security terms. Now it's working in the SCA part, looking for vulnerabilities in third-party dependencies.
Okay.
Found.
That's a lot of checks it runs, and it's quite, yeah, it's looking at different aspects.
Mhm.
Any idea how many checks it does? Does it give you a report at the end that it's
Yeah,
run this many checks?
here you can see there for the severities I selected, critical and high severity. There are 25 in SCA. Secrets, he didn't put secrets there, but
Mm-hmm.
here now he's trying to perform the remediation. This is a real case. So I am doing a real
Mm.
a toy case. Okay.
Right.
he's now making the version bump. Here he upgraded to the library that best fits the build, solving the vulnerability but not breaking the application.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting okay. While it's working, I will show you another case quickly, which is how to do this manually. I
Mm-hmm.
will open here.
I think you need to approve that bash command in the
Okay,
Cloud Code.
I will.
Do you have a dashboard for Xygeni as well? That kind of
Yeah,
shows you
I
a
will
summary
show.
of
I will show.
maybe the
Okay,
previous metrics.
let me check if I find the URL here. Okay, this is also a demo with a lot of malware. We have a lot of malware there because you
Mhm.
see the schools there.
Yeah,
It means malware.
lots of it.
If you have this malware, you are doomed. But
Mm,
what I want to show you here is the risks related to remediation. Okay, so this is
mhm,
our funnel. In the funnel, you have a without filtering, but you can filter based on the context. For example, I have reachable things. The things that are not reachable, probably I don't care. So in the end, I have this few 7,000 few issues to check for, and I can, for example, look for code vulnerabilities, just for code vulnerabilities, and I can filter all of them for active. This one, the last stage of the funnel. I have
mhm,
here, for example, this. Let's take a look at this one, the first one. So I have here. This is a path traversal issue, a common issue, and I can make a triage. A triage tries to detect if this is a false positive because perhaps you don't have all the context. You need to check if the source it's potentially usable by an attacker. So this context, you can do a triage to filter out which are the this is a more deep analysis, and it's on demand. So in this case, I can see that it's a real vulnerability. So it's a thing that I need to fix. So I can go and click on the auto fix. The auto fix is running, in this case, an AI agent to check how to fix the vulnerable code.
mhm,
Takes some time, depends on.
mhm. Yeah, it's working hard.
Yeah. Here is the fix. Well, look, what he did is get a canonical file to remove the dot dot slash dot dot that takes you out of the intended directory, and this is the fix. It's a normal thing. Of course, he tries to validate the input, because the input needs to be validated with respect to a base directory. You cannot get out of a base directory for this vulnerability. So the auto-remediation looks fine. So this is automated. All you need is to create a pull request to apply this change to the main branch in your repository, and that's all. You don't need. You can do in the pull request. You can do another review if you want to check that the fix doesn't break anything and really fixes the vulnerability. In the pull request, you can run the unit tests to check that it doesn't break anything, and with that you are safe. So this is a 1 minute thing. This is the kind of issues for code vulnerabilities. For third-party vulnerabilities in open source dependencies, for example, we have this other. And I have here, this is the end of the funnel. I will go there. I have 39 vulnerabilities. And I have this one, for example. And here you have some interesting context information. This is the reachability analysis. The reachability analysis, this one is not, has no information. I will try this one. I will try this one probably. No. It's not available all the time because sometimes we cannot reach some intermediate repositories that are in the path, so we cannot
Sure,
determine
no
if
problem.
there is a. But
Yeah.
let
Well,
me check if they're reachable.
we got a nice little demo within a demo.
Yeah.
But is our primary demo done? The Cloud Code, has it finished running that entire task?
There are two cases. The first case is a byte coding scenario, and this one is a more on demand remediation. And here you have
Yeah.
the one with that has reachability
All right.
paths, and you can also have the remediation risk, which is in an important context because you have here two options, but the risk is high because you have, okay, you have no new risks with the upgrade, but you have 11 breaking changes, changes in the library that affects you. So this is a potential risky upgrade, and I have to decide. I have to, okay, I will not do the risk with the remediation is higher than the risk keeping the vulnerability. So I have to decide that, and this I can provide this information, but I cannot ensure that you are out of problems. So
All right.
perhaps you need to do another thing, which is to change the way you are using the library or to remove the library and put another library instead. So
Mm.
more complexity. But in this case, I cannot hide the real thing. Fixing vulnerabilities, even with tools that give you the context, is not 100% click, click, click. Okay?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. Yeah, thanks for that detailed demo, though. Yeah, we're almost out of time, so I think this one would take some more time for it to really execute. I
Yeah, I,
think we.
I just end with the results. So you see what happened. It's a 1 minute. Oh, he's trying to look for recent Spring Boot versions.
Yeah. As this is running, I just want to have like one last question for you as we close because we're almost
Mhm.
out of time. And hopefully
Okay.
this will finish by the time we discuss this last question. But even if not, it's fine. It definitely quite a detailed demo that we've had today. But I want to ask you about just your views on the coming year in this space, especially when it comes to automated remediation. Um, what do you think is coming? What is ahead in the next 12 months or so? And I think, 12 months is a long time, and so much is happening in AI. The world is changing pretty fast. What do you see most interestingly that's happening out there that's coming up, and that's probably the next thing to keep an eye on if you're in the security space?
Well, I think that AI is getting a lot of interesting positions. For example, I think that planning, generating action plans I show you some remediation, manual remediation or automated remediation, but generating an action plan to improve your security posture in general could be another good thing to add to the equation. Um, the generation of guardrails. I think it's another forthcoming feature that we will see in the landscape, because it's complex to add controls, security controls, and to close all the gates. It's hard to do, and I think that AI agents could help a lot in that place. So I think that governance and keeping an action plan with the restrictions, the resources that you have. You don't have infinite resources. You have a couple of people with spare time enough for fixing things. So you have to these restrictions, and you have a small amount of resources, and these action plans, I think, could be a great landscape for future additions for AI assistants. And the second is guardrails. I mentioned the creation of accurate guardrails for prevention. We talk in the beginning with on prevention. Prevention
Right.
needs a good plan, and for a good plan you
Mm.
need intelligent agents, intelligent human or non-human. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
that could be a good. There is another question now, in its which is the role of traditional vendors like Xygeni
Mhm.
with regard to the newcomers. I think that there are some vendors, AI vendors, the big ones, Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic, and so on, that they are launching security initiatives. I think it's welcome, but there is no apocalypse for the traditional software vendors like us. I think because yeah, you have a agentic AI is getting a lot of strengths, but they have also weaknesses. They are not They are not deterministic. If you ask a question to an AI agent, he will provide two different answers depending on the day. I think the same with humans, but it's not as deterministic as the traditional security tools. So I think that the combination of both worlds will be the future. If I
Mm.
have to guess something in these uncertain times.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's quite an interesting response there. With that, we've run out of time, but we've covered a lot of ground, and I think you gave us quite an in-depth view of just what is possible with automated remediation and Xygeni's approach to it. And you also given us a lot of insight into just operationally what this means, some of the common mistakes that people make, some of the things to watch for, and there was a lot that we covered in this conversation. So yeah, thanks for just sharing all of that with us. Thank you for joining us today, and all the best for all that you have planned for Xygeni in the coming year. Do come back again, maybe after a year, maybe towards the end of this, maybe next year this time, and tell us about what else you've been launching. We try to get our guests back once a year to tell us what they've been up to. It was a real pleasure hosting you today, Luis. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Twine. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
It
And
was a
thank you to
pleasure.
all, right, yeah. Thank you to all of our listeners and viewers as well for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. You can, if you want to check out more, head over to xygeni.io. That's xygeni.io, and see what they're up to. Follow their journey as well as they dive deeper into automation and using AI for security. If you want to get in touch with Luis, you can find him on LinkedIn. It's Luis Rodriguez with a Z. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we look forward to seeing you on the next conversation. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.